Okay, so here we go. Welcome to the session again. And this session is what we like to call how to sell absolutely anything with the perfect email approach. Now, we have what we call here a 100K email strategy. Now, the reason it's a 100K email strategy, I'm going to explain in a little bit while I'm on this webinar. But what I'm going to kind of break down for you here is basically a strategy we've used to grow 2 multi-six-figure local marketing businesses, okay? So again, that's why it's a 100K email strategy. It's the same strategy we use with both. It's the strategy I'm going to share with you today. And because, again, with Prospectrr, it's all about finding leads and ultimately selling your services to these leads. What we're going to be able to do here is take this strategy, use it with Prospectrr, and hopefully, guys, make some money. That's what it's all about. So on this session today, we're going to look at the hidden opportunity with selling simple services to local businesses and how Prospectrr makes it easy. We're going to show you how to structure the perfect email approach so that you can sell absolutely any service you want. We're going to look at how we use the structure to generate 100K plus for one service. I'll talk about that a little bit later on. And we've got a very special announcement to make live as well that is about to blow you off your chair, guys. So again, if you have joined this webinar live, I would recommend sticking around because we will max this webinar out. And if you do jump off, you won't be able to get back on. It's happened before that, so don't do that. And again, guys, we've got something to show you live that may not be available when we send out the replay. So it's really important you stick around here. So first off, why listen to us? I think it's really important to address this because I know we do have a lot of people on this webinar. I recognize some names, and some of you guys are videos users maybe, or maybe users of our other software. But again, there might be people on here that really don't know who we are. You've literally just picked up Prospectrr. This is the first time you're really, getting to know who we are and what we do. So let me just quickly explain and ultimately give you a reason to stick around and listen to us. So I'm in the middle there, Jamie. I look slightly different now. That's an old picture. You'll see me these days with a beard. So that's an old picture. We've got Joey on the left and, of course, David on the right. Now, we have been working together now for around 2 years, or 18 months I think we have hit 2 years now, over 2 years, actually. And we've been building amazing software platforms together for that amount of time. Now, David and I go back even further. We've literally been working together for around 5-6 years, I think it is now, maybe slightly longer. And we've grown, we grew a local marketing business together, which is the logo you can see in the bottom right there, Mabelio, which is a mobile marketing platform for local businesses. We built that platform and built that together offline into multiple 6 figures a year. And again, we use the email strategy I'm going to talk to you about on this session to grow that business. Literally, it was the most pivotal part of the way we grew it. It was kind of the sword in the fight, if you will. Without it, we wouldn't have grown it to the level we did and have done. We've got the videos logo in the middle, which many of you may know us for. We collectively, all 3 of us, own one of the biggest video animation platforms in the space, which is Videos, incredible software. And of course, on the left-hand side, we've got Prospectrr, which we've just launched. And of course, you guys on this session picked up. Now, Prospectrr was kind of grown from videos because we had a video animation marketplace. We got to speak to a lot of marketers every single day. And the biggest problem most of you guys have, and I'm sure every single one of you on this session has the same sorts of problems, is making money with some of the software you own. There's some incredible software in our space, of course. But, making money with that software is where everybody struggles. And we know one of the easiest ways to do that is by selling to local businesses. We've done it already with Mabelio. I've been doing it for going on 9-10 years. Even before I started working for myself, that's what I did as a job. I was a cold call salesman selling web design and SEO. So I know the market. I know those people buy, and I know where to sell this stuff and how. And that's what I'm going to show you today. So that's why we built Prospectrr. Now, I'm assuming you guys on here pick Prospectrr up to find businesses to pay you to help them. And the first major thing I want to address on here, and again, get some feedback from you guys here as well, is are you guys on here wanting to build a 6-figure business? Now, and again, if you already have built a 6-figure business online, let me know in the chat box. But if you haven't yet, is that something you would like to do? And it might sound like kind of a trick question, but it really isn't, because it's quite a big thing. To run a six-figure business online, there's a lot involved in that. You've got to do a lot of work, a lot of dedication, but it's one of the most amazing things ever. So if you, again, type in the chat box, let me know if you do. Are you wanting to build a six-figure business online? And also, did you pick up Prospectrr, like I say, to find businesses to pay you to help them? If you did, let me know in the chat box as well, because that's what we're going to be focusing on this session. And finally, are you committed, fully committed to making this work? I don't mean, a little bit committed, like, oh, I'll dip a toe in the water, send a few emails, see what goes down. I mean, if I can show you something on this session here, guys, a full strategy where you can run with this right now, are you committed to actually putting that to work? Sitting there, putting in the hard work to make it work, because when you do that, you make money, and when you make money, it makes your life and, of course, your family's lives better. And I can see, again, just quickly scanning the chat box very quickly on another laptop I've got here, I can see right now we've got, wow, so many yeses. The message box here is absolutely exploded. That is incredible. Well, that's what we're going to do on here, guys. And our promise to you on this session right now is, if you stick around for the next 45 minutes, I'm going to show you the ultimate strategy to writing any approach email and generating sales in any service or product you want with email, and essentially how you can go and do that today. Now, first things first, the opportunity is huge, and it's really, really important that everybody understands this. Local businesses need help right now, and you have all the expertise you need. Now, I'm going to rewind 10 years. Before I even started online or any of that, I was a cold call salesman for a company, and I sold basically directory listings. We sold SEO, we sold really small 5-page websites, and it was hard, picking the phone up. Now, that was really hard back then, but we were still making sales every single day, and I became top seller in that office. And when I say it was really hard back then, the reason why is because businesses back then didn't see online as an opportunity as much. I still spoke every day to businesses that would spend $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a year on yellow page book advertising. Now, you've probably seen, wherever you are in the world, you probably have directories like the yellow pages. And you remember back in the day, there used to be absolutely massive things that you could use as doorstops. These days, they're almost the size of as thin as a small newspaper, because people businesses are not going there anymore. But going back 10 years, when I was selling over the phone, businesses were going there. So I had a harder job. It was an uphill battle. I didn't have to convince business owners to, to essentially, buy websites and SEO and all of this stuff. That was kind of the second part of the battle. The first part of the battle I had was convincing them they needed to look at online, which right now to everybody on here sounds absolutely insane. Even when I think about it, I still can't believe I was having to convince business owners running real businesses that they really needed to look at online marketing and putting their businesses online, or they were going to die out. And that's the battle I had. We don't have that now. Every single one of you on here does not have to face that battle. Every business you go out there and you go and speak to, it doesn't matter what business they're in, they already know they need to be online. They already know they need to be on Facebook. They already know they need to be on Google. They already know all of this stuff. You don't have to convince them of that anymore. So the battles I was going through back then and was still making sales, you don't have now. So the opportunity has become huge. Now, one other thing as well to think about here is it's now not just about websites and SEO. Again, going way back, 10 years ago, even 6, 7 years ago and 8, 9 years ago, websites were the only thing anybody sold. I sold websites and rankings at the time, we sold rankings on Yahoo, which is incredible because that was one of the bigger search engines at the time. And then we sold, the Google stuff when Google, started to get bigger and bigger. But there wasn't Facebook, so we couldn't sell anything to do with Facebook. There was no social media at all, so there's no opportunity to sell that stuff. Nobody used video online back then at all. So these other opportunities are now coming into play. There isn't just one thing we can sell. We can sell absolutely anything at all. And on this session right now, I don't care how experienced you think you are. you've got way more experience than a local business owner. If a local plumber or a local restaurant owner or, somebody who runs a dog grooming business or whatever came up to you right now and said to you, hey, I'm thinking of putting my website online. What should I do? How should I market my website online? If they asked you that question right now, I guarantee every single one of you on here could answer that and probably speak for hours and hours and hours about, all the different things they could do. You've got more expertise than any other business owner. So you need to understand how big that opportunity is. Now, they will pay you big money for your knowledge and help. They have all bought something from someone else already. You run a search on Prospectrr right now. And the reality is, if you go down the list of all those, the leads you find from any search, every single one of those that's got a website, which is pretty much 90% of businesses these days, have bought that website from somewhere. Okay? So the majority have already paid for things off people, which shows they will also pay you to do these things as well. It's just about finding those businesses and putting the right offer in front of them. More than ever has online become a pivotal part of any businesses I've already covered. And the ultimate thing as well, which is another thing that most people don't think about, if you can't do what it is you want to sell, if you're wanting to go and sell SEO, but you can't do SEO, there are plenty of companies you can outsource that to very, very, very easily. If you want to go and sell full videos to businesses, but you can't create full video commercials or you don't feel comfortable in creating a video, then there are so many places you can go and outsource that and put your profit on top of it. So every single person on here can make money, in this market, the local business market, very quickly, big money by selling all of these things. And I'm going to show you how to tap into that, because ultimately, to be able to make money in this market, you've got to find businesses that want help and will pay you for it. So what I'm going to show you today is the perfect email approach that we've already proven. As I mentioned before, David and I have already grown a multi-six-figure-a-year business in the local marketing space, selling mobile marketing. And that all started selling mobile websites, which I hasten to add, we sold 6 figures worth of mobile websites before we even built Movelio. Okay, that was our growth spurt, and that was all down to emails. Literally, every single client, every single lead, every single mobile website initially we sold, and then every single account on Movelio we sold, all started from a simple email. And it's the strategy that we use there that I'm going to show you today. And it's basically 3 different steps to the perfect email. So what are the 3 different steps? Well, here they are. And don't worry, I'm going to break these steps down. I'm not just going to say this is what you need to do, because of course, none of you guys know really what all of this stuff is. So I'm going to break all of these steps down. But the 3 key steps to writing perfect approach emails, and those emails I'm talking about as well, is you loading up Prospectrr, you finding a load of businesses you think you can help, and then you get to the point where you think, what do I send them? What do I email them to actually want them to buy from me? Well, that's what we're going to create here, and I'm going to explain how to create those types of emails to have businesses responding to you and nobody else. So step 1, we've got to do what we like to call criteria modeling. Now, criteria modeling is actually pretty much done for you, but I'm going to get into that in a second. Step 1, criteria modeling. Don't worry, I'm going to explain what that is in a second and how you do that. Step 2, we need an irresistible offer, of course. I'm going to explain how to build an irresistible offer and how to do those in a second. And step 3, we need what we like to call risk-free scarcity. Basically, we need to make sure our emails are risk-free, and we need to make sure our emails have a scarcity element. Now, some of these things you might be looking and thinking, well, yeah, I already know that. Risk-free, we know scarcity. Obviously, you need an irresistible offer. But what types of things do you actually put into these steps? That's what we're going to be covering on this session. So the first step we're going to look at here is criteria modeling. Now, before I actually dive into criteria modeling and talk about this and talk about why this is important, it's important to also explain the whole purpose of sending an email. If you're going to email a business owner, we're not going to sell, we're not going to sell a video or a SEO job, or we're not going to sell a website to a business owner by sending them one email. Okay, that's not going to happen. If that happens, it's luck. A business owner isn't going to be typing their credit card details back to you by you sending them one email. They've never met you before. They don't know who you are. Essentially, they don't know what it is you can do for them at this point. So we're not going to be making sales by sending one email here. It's all about responses. Now, if you think about one of the examples I've always used is you think about dating. You know, if you're single and you go out to the bar or whatever at a weekend, hoping to meet somebody, and you meet a nice lady at the bar, or you meet a nice guy at the bar, you don't go up straight away, get down on one knee and try and put a ring on their finger. You don't try and do that. You know, you are basically having to play the dating game. You've got to get to know that person. Not only get to know that person, you've got to build trust with that person to initially allowing you to take them on a proper date. You then get them on a proper date, and you've got to work out who each of you are. You know, can they give you what you want, and vice versa. And you do that several times and over a period of months and years even before you get down on one knee and decide this person is for me and I'm going to get married. Now, of course, we're not going to spend years trying to sell a website to a business owner, but that is it's the exact same thing. We're just going to condense it into a very short period of time. That's what we're basically doing here. So when it comes to sending emails and actually trying to make sales here, guys, the initial step here of writing perfect approach emails, what I'm showing you here, is all about trying to get a response, because that's the key. If we can't get a response, we can't do anything. We're basically sending emails to try and get businesses to write an email back to us, to respond to our email and say, I am interested in what it is you've got to offer. Tell me more. That's what we want, because then that gives us a platform to sell them. Before we can sell them, we need a response. We need some ears that will listen to us, or eyeballs when it comes to email. So that's what these steps are going to, again, achieve. This is what the approach emails we write essentially produce. So step one, criteria modeling. What is this? Well, criteria modeling is we focus, when we write our emails, to approach a business owner to sell, and this is to sell anything, guys, not just video or anything like that. It's absolutely anything. We focus on criteria based on research and analysis within Prospectrr to basically open up any email we send out. Okay, so Prospectrr has done this job for you. When you search out a business, and this is why we created it. When you send out an email to a business using, when you do when you do a search on Prospectrr for any business niche in any area, it does what you see on screen here. It'll find the businesses, show you their websites, and then when you look over to the right hand side, you've got some icons. So it will start to open up these icons for you. It will start to say, this business has got a video. This business hasn't got a video. This business has got a Facebook page. This business has got a Twitter account. It's giving you information. It's analyzing these businesses and what they're doing online for you. Going back to when we built Mabellio and we're using this technique, we didn't have Prospectrr. We did this manually. We had a team of virtual assistants who we outsourced this to, who would go through every single one of these businesses. And at the time, we were selling mobile websites. So we were having to test their websites on mobile. Are they mobile optimized? Are they not? What have they got on the website? What are they doing? Are they building lists? Have they got Facebook pages as we got further in? Have they got video? You know, all of this stuff you're seeing here, we did manually. It took us hours and hours and hours and hours. But we put the time in, because when we then actually ran with our campaigns and we emailed businesses, our response rate to our emails was absolutely amazing. And we were getting basically emails back with businesses wanting to get on phone calls with us just because they wanted to buy what we had. That's what this does if you do this properly. So we basically use criteria to open up any of our emails. Now, we do this to stand out. If you think about, if you own a website online now, and again, if you're if this happens to you, let me know in the chat box. If you own a website online, or you already are an admin for maybe a client's website, almost every day through that contact form on the website or via your email, you get emails from SEO companies all over the world, India, Philippines. You get emails from online marketing companies all over the world again, video companies, agencies. And all these emails are the same thing. It'll have a subject line that lets you know straight away who it is, what they do. You know, yeah, we're an SEO company. And then the email is, hey, my name's, Brian, and I'm an SEO specialist at this firm. We put people top page of Google. You need this. We can help you. And that is the basic crux of the emails everybody's sending. So business owners get this every day. If you think of a standard business owner, and see in the chat box now, you guys get these. I do all the time. I've got a few e-commerce websites. Every single day that inbox is hammered with these types of emails. I don't even open them. I just do mass delete. So what do you think all the other business owners out there are doing as well? They're mass deleting these emails because they know now that it's just companies sending massive amount of emails that are just saying the same things. They're not interested. So with criteria modeling, we're able to stand out with our emails. So we look at how everyone else emails and we need to do something different to make sure we grab attention. When you look at your emails every single morning when you open up your inbox, you'll scan them. You'll look down those emails, you'll scan names, you'll see who they're coming from, you'll scan subject lines. Subject lines then will probably make you open them. If you use Gmail, which a lot, the majority of people do, or even Outlook, it will actually give you the first line or the first couple of lines of the actual email. So you can actually read it without even opening it. So again, if we do that, every other human being who runs a business on earth does that as well. So we've got to make sure we grab attention within the first part of our emails. Because again, as I mentioned, the key to our email marketing and that first approach email that we're sending, the key is a response. The more criteria you have, the better. Prospectrr does the work for you. So you might be thinking, well, how do we use criteria? And an example of this is, let's say we're selling video, okay? And if I go back a couple of slides here to here, let's say we're selling video to these companies, and we can see that Light Hair Salon here doesn't have a video, okay? The other three do, but Light Hair Salon at the bottom doesn't have a video, so we're going to send them an email. What I would do is we can open up the Light Hair Salon listing here, and we can look, and if Light Hair Salon has a Facebook page, then that's all we need. That gives us a little bit of criteria. So when we open the email, we can say, hey there, my name's Jamie. I came across your website. Notice you're not using video, but I also noticed you've got a very active Facebook page, which is really, really cool, really good. And you're not using video on there either. What I've done there is the way I've opened that email is completely different to how anyone else would do it. And it's basically going to grab that business owner's attention and basically have them going, whoa, this person's been looking into me. This person understands and has actually researched my business. What is this? Can they help me? What is this? Essentially, you've got my attention. Now, should I keep reading this email or should I delete it because you're the same as everybody else? That's what criteria modeling at the beginning of the email does. Does that make sense to everybody? So again, another example as well. Yeah, again, tons of yeses. Another example is if you're approaching a business to sell, let's say you're approaching them to sell a Facebook page to them and you realize they've got video. It works the other way around. And they use Twitter. You can say, I can see you already use Twitter. I mean, you might even be wanting to sell a better designed Facebook. You might want to sell, Facebook design. You could say, I know you use Twitter and Facebook already. And I can see that you're fairly active, but your Facebook page doesn't look that professional. If I compare it to this company, one of your competitors, it's chalk and cheese. I can help you, create a better looking Facebook page. So that's another idea of using their criteria to do this. So we're not just mass emailing here. We're sending to different businesses that match that criteria we're sending to. So, excuse me, if we are going after a business that, basically doesn't have video, my original example, they've got a Facebook page and maybe a Twitter profile. We can then find 100 businesses that all match that criteria and we can send all 100 businesses the same email. And what's going to happen then is that email is going to be personable to every single one of them because they match that criteria. That's what Prospectrr does and allows you to do, which saves you time. Again, when me and David did this to open up our emails, we literally would spend hours and hours and hours and hours doing this research to find leads to email to. But what happens when we email those 100 businesses that match your criteria, essentially match the email you're sending, the response rate is huge. It's so much bigger than if you were to just send to random 100 businesses. And that's why you put in the work to do that. So once you've got the criteria down, you've picked your criteria you want to go after, we then move into the next part of our email. So the first part of your email is going to address the criteria. You're going to pick out things the business is doing and is not doing, based on the information we've got, based on research and analysis. That way, when they open that email up, again, we go through the thought process of everybody. They open your email, the first thing they're going to do is read for around 3 to 5 seconds before deciding whether they need to continue reading. If they read it and it's all about an SEO company and how you're going to sell them SEO or whatever it is you're selling, they won't even last 5 seconds. If they read it and you're defining criteria that they match, i.e. I've seen you're active on Facebook. We even went as far as saying, I can see, your last post on Facebook about X did really well. You can go down that laser focused if you want to, even better. But to save time, you can literally see you're active on Facebook. I see you've got a great website. I can see you don't use video on either. So we use criteria. When they read that, that's going to keep their attention because they're realizing that we've actually done some digging here. So what is it we're going on to? What are we leading on to here? And then that leads into step 2 here, which is, of course, an irresistible offer. At the moment they've read that criteria, you have to build an offer that produces a response. So they're reading your email. They've got through that first couple of lines of criteria modeling and they're thinking, right, this person's done the research. What is it they want? They're still not interested in what you've got at this point. You've just grabbed enough attention from the criteria modeling to get to this point. Because again, that's really important. Most people don't get to this point. Most people can't get a business owner to read an email long enough to get to what the whole point of the email is, which is, of course, the offer. We can with criteria modeling when done properly. And then basically we hit them with an offer. And this offer has to be that irresistible that it makes them step back and think for a few moments of, I might need to respond to this email. Because that's essentially what we're after. So what is an irresistible offer? Well, it's a free offer. That's key. It's absolutely key. So you might be thinking, well, I don't want to give stuff away for free, but the fact is you don't have to. I'm going to explain now. So a free offer. So let's say we've done the criteria model. We're going to keep with the same example right through so it makes sense. You're trying to sell video to somebody who does not have video. Hey, I've come across your website. I can see you don't use, website's great, but you're not using video at the moment to show off your business. I can see you're really active on Facebook as well, which is incredible. But again, you're not using video there either. There we go. There's the criteria modeling. They get to that point. We then move into this point, which is the irresistible offer, which is, and I'll use this example on page. And again, this example is not going to fit because I've used a different example here. But I would then go in to say, there is an opportunity for you to use a simple video to generate way more inquiries every single week from the same posts you do on Facebook and from the same traffic you already get on your website. I can actually show you how this works for free. Okay? So don't read what I've got on screen here, guys. Don't read this little screenshot. I'll go over this one in a minute because it won't make sense to my example. But we've said we're approaching a business that's got active on Facebook, doesn't use video, has a website, doesn't use video. We've already mentioned that in the email criteria. We then say, hey, well, I can show you how you can use simple video in the same Facebook post and on the same website you've already got to generate more inquiries from the same traffic you're getting. And you might be thinking, well, how do you do that? Well, it's simple because a business that is using Facebook right now and who is active, are they going to get more benefit if they use video within their Facebook posts? Of course they are. If a business right now on Facebook used Facebook Live, they would get more traction than they've had all year on their fan page combined probably, unless they're using ads, but they'll get more free traction. The same with video. If they're using video, that video is likely going to be shared way more than if they're just putting a post up there with a discount offer. I've seen an example of it the other day. There was a local barbershop near me who created this really cool video. They'd done a really good job with it. And they shared that. And honestly, the local area shared that video for fun. It got close to, I think, 350 shares all in the local area. That one video would have benefited that business incredibly. It was a pretty cool video, but they just decided to use video in one of their posts. So by us saying we can show you how to use simple video to get more out of the Facebook posts you're already doing and more out of your website, well, of course it's got to. If you add a video to a website, it's going to convert more people ultimately anyway. And if you, create a video for a business to use on their Facebook page, it's going to get more traction than a post a standard text post or a standard image. So what we're saying is true. And when we then go to say, I can actually show you how this works for free, we're not going to do it for free, but we're going to show them how it works for free. So you get how we use the words there in an irresistible, I mean, that's our offer. It's a free offer. I'm offering you how to show you how Simple Video can do all this for free. They won't know what it is you can do. They won't know how it works because they're not already doing it. So they're going to be intrigued. Now, the example I've got on screen here, just to make sense of this one, is if you're trying to sell to a business that's already got video. So they've got video, but it's not great. Again, so you can go, I've seen your video on your website, and I can see that you're using it on Facebook. So again, we've got the criteria modeling. There is a tweak you can make to your video right now that, if done properly, will produce more inquiries. I can actually show you this tweak for free. Okay? That is another irresistible offer. If you said that to a business owner right now, who has a video, would you respond to that? Of course you would, because if you were a business owner with a video, you'd respond to that yourself, because you'd be thinking, well, what is it? What tweak? What simple tweak? Like, what is it that I'm not doing that I should be doing? That's ultimately what the irresistible offer has to be. And the big thing at the bottom here, guys, as well, focus on pain point. The pain point is the same for every single service you run. And the pain point is more inquiries. That's it. Every single local business, hair salons, dog groomers, restaurants, dental surgeries, doctors, private doctors, physiotherapists, hypnotherapists, therapists in general. All of these different businesses have one thing in common. They always need inquiries. They always need customers. So we just focus on that pain point for every single one. We don't need to complicate this. As long as we've got that in there, and you can see I've got that in there, if done properly, will produce more inquiries. I'm already assuming I know what their pain point is, because I already know what it is. We can assume that. We already know every single business needs more inquiries, so we just focus on that. We'll produce more inquiries. If you remember the example I've talked about before, I can show you how to use Simple Video on the same Facebook post and the same website to produce more inquiries from the same traffic you're already getting. Again, I've used that pain point again in that particular offer. That's how you create an irresistible offer, and it's very, very important we offer a free offer. Now, here's why. Everyone hates being sold to. If we don't make it about being something we can show them or give them for free, then we're going to lose, because they're immediately going to think, sounds good, but problem is, I don't have any money, I don't want to spend any money. Okay, sounds good, but I don't want to give you any money. That is essentially what they're going to be thinking at this point. So we need to make the offer free. It can be, I can show you for free. I can show you how it works for free. I could show you some free, I could show you how others are using this already for free. You basically use the free in those ways. And again, it's going to, lower that barrier of, I'm going to show you, you're going to be sold to. When we did it with mobile websites, we took it even a step further, and we offered to set people up for free as well in some cases. But we were in a bit of a different position then, because we could just do it very quickly. But you might be selling, video animation. Could you show them a video animation of their logo for free? If you're a videos user, you could do that in a few minutes. So it's quite easy to do and offer a free thing. Even if it's just to show them for free, it still works the same. Anything, we need to make sure there's a mention of showing them or giving them something for free in that email, because otherwise the responses won't come, because they're just going to be worried they're going to spend money. So we simply don't sell anything. At this point as well, guys, if you see how the email's kind of shaping up in your mind, we're not telling them what we're going to sell them. I'm not telling them we're going to sell them a video package. I'm not telling them we're going to sell them video animations. I'm just explaining I can show you something. I've got something. I can show you something you're not doing. I can show you a tweak that will improve what you're doing and ultimately generate you more inquiries. They don't know what it is yet. And the reason we don't tell them what it is yet is because if we do tell them what it is, they won't respond, because they think they'll have seen it or they know it all already. But they, of course, don't, because otherwise they'd have implemented it already. So we give value first and the money follows. As internet marketers, who's heard of that before? Who's heard of that saying? We give value first and the money follows. Everybody knows that. Free can just be showing, educating. That's the biggest thing here. So this is the second step of the email. So we've got the criteria modeling, where we use criteria to get them interested when they open your email. So you've grabbed attention. you're serious because you've done research, but use Prospectrr. It saves you all the time in the world. We then move into this free offer, and then we finally move into step 3, risk-free and scarcity. Now, you're going to realize here, guys, that the emails we're going to be, the emails you're going to be creating here are not long. We're not writing essays. We're not writing feature-length books. We're writing a simple 3, 4, 5 sentence email. Because again, the reason we do that is because we're after one thing. We're after a response. We're not after anything other than a response. And secondly, if somebody opens your email and you have to scroll down to see it all, they're not going to read it. I guarantee they're not going to read it. They're too busy to do that. I'm the same. If I open up my email inbox and I open emails and I have to scroll, I can't see it all on one screen, then I generally would think, well, I'll read that later, or I don't even bother reading it. I just don't have enough time to do that. So we keep them short, and this is where everyone else goes wrong. They go too long, and that's why you're not getting responses. So we keep them short, so they are basically all there, right on screen. It's not overwhelming to look at, formatted well, and that's what we're after, because we want a response. Now, risk-free and scarcity is really important. This needs to be in at the end of your emails. We've kind of talked about it already. We need to squash 2 main rebuttals your emails are going to have. So what are those rebuttals? Well, the 2 email killers are as follows. This is too good to be true. Okay? But again, this goes down to the risk-free offer. That's where we have to offer something for free. We'll show you for free. We'll implement this tweak for free. Whatever it is you're offering, you'll know whether you can do that, guys. But we've got to squash the fact that if we say we can show you, so if I said, we've got, like, I'll reframe the 2 quick emails here. If I said, we can implement a tweak on your website that will generate you double the inquiries overnight. That won't get a response because it sounds too good to be true, and it sounds risky, and essentially that just sounds like you're trying to get me to buy something. If I reframe that and say, I can show you a simple tweak I can make to your website that I believe could improve the amount of inquiries you get by 50%. And I'd be happy to show you this for free if you're interested. That sounds completely different. It's saying the same thing almost, but it's completely different. Because you put, I'd be willing to show you it for free if you're interested, it piques interest. All of a sudden it's taken the, this is too good to be true, down a few notches. They're still going to be thinking about that, but they're going to be then thinking, well, he'll show me for free. So if it is too good to be true, I'll work that out. So that's what produces the response. And that's why we need to have that risk-free offer. Look, we will show you for free. If you don't have that in there, then it sounds like they're going to have to risk something to find that out, which generally is going to boil down to, I'm going to spend money on this. And the other email killer you're going to get, i.e. the other issue rebuttal that will stop people responding, is the bottom one. I'll leave this for now. And why do people put I'll leave this for now? Well, they put I'll leave this for now because they're not in any rush to get back to you. So you've done the hard work with the criteria modeling. You've got your offer and your irresistible offer written out in the email. And then you get to the point where you've got the risk-free in there, but then you leave it open-ended. So it's like, if you're interested, just let me know. Thanks, bye. You're not putting any scarcity into the email. Now, you would still get responses. You would definitely still get responses by following the first 2 steps and leaving this part out. But most businesses are busy and they would read it and go, I'm interested, but I'll get back to this later. Or might decide that it's not for them right now because they think they could just come back to that email later. You've probably done this yourself, guys. We put a bit of scarcity into that email and a reason for them to respond, and it ups our response rates considerably. So what sort of scarcity can we put in? Well, we can't put things like you've only got 24 hours to respond or the offer's rescinded. We can't do things like that. But we can use their competitors in a very, very unique way. So what I mean is, when we email, at the end of the email, we're going to put something like, I've also emailed it. Now, there's a couple of ways you can do it, but here's one way. I've also, I've noticed that 2 of you, or your main competitors, 3 of your main competitors are not using this technique either. So I've reached out to them as well. So if you are interested in finding this out, and you are interested in seeing what this is, email me back ASAP. So using their competitors, because you're going to be emailing more than one, because there'll be several that match your criteria, we'll have them thinking, well, I need to find out what this is. And the reason we do that, there's the scarcity there, because they're going to have what we like to call fear of loss at that point. If they don't respond to you, one of their competitors might do, and they're going to get an edge. And when it comes to local businesses here, restaurants are battling with every other restaurant in the neighborhood. And plumbers are doing the same. Hair salons are doing the same. And businesses are popping up all the time, new businesses. Businesses that, again, are just being created today in your area. They're all battling each other. So when you use their competitors at the ends of emails, they all want to get one over on each other. They all want to be the one that's ahead of the curve. They all want to be the biggest company in the area. That's what we focus on when we put a scarcity aspect in like that. And again, you can do it in multiple different ways. That's one way of doing it. Another way you can do it is to say, I've noticed none of your competitors are currently doing this yet. So again, if you do this, it's going to give you an edge over everybody else. By saying that, we're not saying we're emailing their competitors. We're just letting them know that your competitors aren't doing what I've found. And if you want to get an edge on them, email me back and I'll show you, because you can get an edge. That again is as strong, if not stronger, than saying you've emailed their competitors. Because saying you've emailed their competitors, in some cases they might say, oh yeah, whatever, yeah, he's just trying to push me into it. But reframing that and saying your competitors are not doing this either, you literally can get an edge if you implement this. It adds just unbelievable scarcity. Even me saying that right there, guys, you can see, I'm seeing in the chat box now, yeah, wow, like major scarcity. Of course, you get so much. I'm thinking myself, if someone comes to us and says, we've got this and it's going to do this for you, none of your competitors are using it yet, you'll be able to get an edge. I'm going to be intrigued to know what that is. Anybody would. And that's what's going to, again, finish your email off perfectly. And then you just need to say, hit reply if you're interested, or call me on this number if you want to put your number in there. Done and dusted. Now, you'll realize that the email doesn't have some of the major things you think it should have. We don't tell them anything about our company. We don't tell them how long we've been established and any of that BS. We don't tell them anything. We're not going in there saying, oh, we're this and we're that, and oh, we've done this and we've done this for others. We're not doing that. It's all about focusing on quick, short emails that focus on criteria, that focus on an irresistible offer that they just need to respond to. But then we make sure they want to respond to it by putting scarcity in there, using their competitors for scarcity. And that's what produces the responses. And that's ultimately, when we're doing this, what we're after. We're not looking to sell somebody, if you're selling video for $1,000 a time, you're not going to be able to sell it with one email. You're going to have to either go back and forth a bit, or jump on a call or whatever. But to get even into to get into the realm of being able to sell somebody something for $1,000, we've got to first get a response from them and get somebody interested. And that's what this email strategy does. So what can you actually sell? If you're new to all this and you picked up, Prospectrr thinking, well, I'm interested in what it can find, but what sort of stuff can we sell? Well, you can sell so much just based on the Prospectrr alone. Now, you obviously need to do criteria modeling. That is the ultimate thing of any opening of any email. So to do criteria modeling, we need to do research analysis. So if you're using Prospectrr, you want to be focusing on using criteria that Prospectrr finds for you, or you're going to be putting in extra work. So there's so many things. You could sell video. You could sell mobile websites. You could sell social media services or social media design. Again, Prospectrr finds all the Facebook pages for you. It takes you less than 5 minutes to click open all the Facebook pages to see which ones need help, which ones need to redesign their pages. Boom, there's something you can sell right now. People on Fiverr redesign fan pages for $5. You could sell that for $400, $500, not a problem. You could do full social media branding packages where you don't just design the Facebook page, you also design the Twitter as well. We can see here, example of Parlor Beauty, they've got both. So there's one thing. Again, down the bottom right here, no signs of website being responsive. You can sell mobile websites. No Google Analytics found. You can sell analytic installations. We've got web design you could sell. We've got all sorts of different things that Prospectrr finds all of this information for you. You just have to dig through the analysis it's doing for you to sell. And the potential is huge with the right email. The email is absolutely key. You know, once you have one that works, you are printing money. If you could send an email now, guys, in Prospectrr. So you fire up Prospectrr, you find, 20, 30 businesses, match your criteria, and you sent an email and you knew that by hitting send on that button, you were going to get, maybe 6, 7, 8 of them respond to you and say, I'm interested. Imagine what that could do for your business. What would that mean right now? You are literally printing money because you're being given a platform to go and sell the service you want to sell to them. Just find targets using Prospectrr and hit send, wait for responses and close them. It's that simple. You don't have to speak to anyone that doesn't want to speak to you. It's about finding people that respond. But to get the response, Prospectrr only does half of the work. It'll do the analysis, it'll find the businesses. But to get them to respond to you, you need to have an email that's gonna trigger that response. And that's how to do it, as I've just shown you in 3 steps. That's how to construct an email properly and perfectly to produce a response. And then once you've got that response, you can then take that forward. Right, well, I can show you now. Let me show you how this works. But what you've got is somebody that is interested in what it is you can help them with. And that's absolute ultimate. And we've got a little example down the bottom here. Imagine if you sent 100 emails, and these are very conservative. You send 100 emails right now and only 15% of those people respond to you, which is extremely conservative. Using this tactic, when we were running it with Mabelli or with VAs, we were getting response rates as high as 35, 40% using these types of emails. So imagine, in essence, we'd send 100 emails and have too many responses to deal with in 1 day, 2 days in some cases, which is pretty incredible. And that's why Prospectrr makes it a lot easier. And again, why you don't need to send hundreds and hundreds of emails to get a response. You can send 100 emails, get 15% responded, close 2 of them at $1,000 for any service you want. $1,000 for video, or $1,000 for, a Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube channel redesign. No problem at all. You close 2 of those a week. That's $8,000 a month. What would that mean to you, to your business, to your life? Like, that is from 100 emails. Imagine if you had the time to send 200 emails and you closed 4 a week. $16,000 a month. 160, 70, 80K a year, which is, it's almost multiple 6 figures, which is ultimately, these are conservative. These are really conservative numbers. And they're conservative because of the types of emails we're actually sending here. And that's ultimate. It all comes down to the email. You have to have that right. If it's not right, then you can send 100 emails and get no responses, which you might have experienced already. You might have tried prospecting in the past, got nowhere with it, thought it's too hard. It's because your email isn't right. And that's, again, using what I've shown you in here, you can do that. Now, before we move on, I've got a quick question. Is everyone here confident they can do what I've just explained there? Is everybody, on the same wavelength? Everybody, everybody can see, that you can do that. I'm checking the chat box now, guys, because I want to make sure everybody is with me here. Yes, brilliant. Awesome. Yes. No problem. This seems to, exactly. This is golden. Thanks, Kathy. It is. Do you know what the biggest thing is here as well, guys? And here's the one thing. It's not hard. This is so simple. It's just too easy. It almost is too easy, but it works. This is the whole bottom line. There's no need to overcomplicate this stuff at all. It is this simple. And we can prove it's this simple because we've done it before. We've built companies like using this before. And as I've gone through here, and everybody's understanding, which is really important, the biggest thing for us here is everybody understands that they can do this themselves. That's the big thing. Now, let me move on. We promised at the beginning that we had something very special to show you. And again, now that you can all see how that works, you could all go and run with this yourselves right now, no problem at all. But the big issue right now is 2 things. And on this webinar right now, you may fall into these brackets. Let me know. The biggest things right now are two things. I can already see in the chat box, yeah, I like it, but how do you construct the emails? You know, taking the time to write the emails. How do you even word a full email for the service you want? You're going to take the time out to try and get that right. And of course, the effort of knowing exactly how to write